Hey everybody, what's up? This is Markets for Millennials, and I just wanted to check in about what's happening on Bitcoin. And I've been trying to look ahead to the price projections and whatnot, what we should be looking for and when. And so I thought I'd take a moment to go through that with you guys here. So what I did was I created this trend line. If I start from the beginning, I know maybe I should have started this way sooner, but if I go to my object tree, what I had, that's for later. What I had been doing was using these lines. So I had cloned, let me start with these. I had cloned the most important trend line in crypto, and I've been showing how you can kind of see the faded lines in the background. I've been kind of showing how those trend lines have provided resistance and support, and that same thing has been true on the upside here. And I think the only place where it hasn't really caught support properly is right here. Maybe you could say that this was resistance. But yeah, it doesn't look good right in that spot, but generally you can see how the market has respected it. And then I've also been looking at these prime trend lines, which I cloned. I cloned from over here during the rise. Looked like that basically, and I cloned those all the way over because you can see how if I go to a daily chart, you could see how those lines worked out as support, and then ultimately when it gave way, actually, I think I have to go like this. You can see how it's provided that support, and then ultimately when it broke down, and if you wanted to clone it down, then you would see also how it provided resistance, whether it's here or here. Anyway, not to dwell on that. But just the point is to see that I have been using those lines because of the concepts of market symmetry, and if I wanted to, I could drop this line right there as well. So it would work there as well. And so I've been kind of watching those, and so long as this these ascending trend lines hold, then to me, the way I've seen it is I'm not worried. Now I'm going to get rid of those so that I can show you this line. A lot of people were watching this line. Let me go to my 8-hour. A lot of people were watching this line, and then we finally broke that line. The only problem with that was that after we broke, we came right back above it, and then it acted like nothing happened. So the way I looked at this was, once you break the trend line once, it means that there's a different trend at play, and that may or may not be correct, but so far it doesn't look like this line is providing anything of substance, and even if I were to clone it, it doesn't look like it's providing anything as far as resistance or support, and so so if I get rid of, where is it? If I get rid of, I can't find it. Oh, there we go. Get rid of that line, and then what I did was I marked a couple of lines because I suspect that the new trend line is a little bit more shallow if we're following this, and so I suspect it may not be exact, but we get the touches here at the top. We've got some touches along the bottom, and it's breaking down from that. And so the rule again is that once you break the bottom of the channel, so in that case, that would be this bottom white line, which I just kind of colored near in yellow. But if we broke down right here below it, then that means again that the trend is changing. But you can kind of see the market symmetry here and how that works, how that can work for to kind of just check your levels. So and then what I have also is I have a couple of these trend lines that I added in. Let me get rid of this and this really quick. Just want to make sure I have this as cleaned up as possible. And so these are not the clones of the most important trend line in crypto, but again, in looking for counter trend resistance and support, it actually seems that that this, depending on where you put it, could actually work a bit. You can see right there. You can see right there. To some extent right here, if you go from the closing of some of those red candles and the green candles. So that also works, and so this, to me, the symmetry works there, and you can see it's provided perfect touches of resistance here, resistance, support right here. And so right now, it kind of looks like, and you could view this as something like a flag if you wanted to. And so I think let me see if I can do this properly in real time. So if you do that, it kind of looks like a little bit of a flag. And so I could totally see right now this being the dominant trend to the side, consolidating. And so this is kind of what I'm watching right now. And so to kind of put this back here, what I'm currently watching to see is, let me get this back up. Actually, let me get rid of that one. I'm looking to see if this channel, the more shallow channel, is holding in the near term, and to what extent this kind of flag or this counter trend support and resistance will continue to show itself. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. So let me get rid of these lines so that my chart isn't all trashy. Yeah, and then as far as price predictions, a lot of people, again, doomsday scenarios, a lot of people are looking at this round, like they're looking at that as a rounding formation, rounding top. And they're saying, oh, we're going to go back down to 30K or even lower. We have people talking about this being another Wyckoff, that this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and that we're currently in the process of making like our 4th move, something like this, before heading back down. So, of course, I think for me, it ever since, where were we? I think when we were back here, I think we were somewhat in this area. We started seeing all those people talking about how, oh, we should have seen Wyckoff coming back here, back in February, March, maybe even in April. We should have seen it coming, and it's like, now everyone is watching for Wyckoffs on 8-hour, 1 day, 1 hour, 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour chart, all those kinds of things. So I'm in the near term, I'm looking to see if price is going to find support maybe right at this level around 43,000. As yet, as we speak, we haven't made a lower low from this level here, August 25th and 26th, which is about 46,700. It looks like we're getting close to that. And then, of course, as I said, if we are on this flag, then we should make a lower low here. And so for me, a level that I'm watching out for is actually going to be right around here at 43,868. That's kind of the low of these wicks right here and the low of these 8-hour candles closing. So I'm going to watch there, and you'll also see that if we continued this flag down, we'll get to a confluence there. So I don't know if it's going to consolidate that many sessions down this way. It's totally possible we could break down. There's no telling, but those are the kind of the things that I'm watching on Bitcoin right now. And then I think the thing that maybe more people are going to watch this video for, I started looking at what I did was I overlaid right here from the mid-cycle dip. I'm going to go to my daily chart. It's a little bit cleaner this way. I put in from the mid-cycle dip and did a bars pattern on TradingView to try to see the range that we're in. So basically, the last 150 days before the cycle peak, there's a mid-cycle dip. Actually, you know what? Before I do this, I'll show you what I'm talking about in case any people on here are not aware. Let me get rid of this. So starting from, let me log chart this. So starting from kind of this mid-cycle dip, it's about 150 days till you get to the cycle peak. It was like that in the first cycle. And And then it's also like that in the second cycle. So right about here, July. So kind of the low happens around the same time each year in mid to late July. And in the second cycle, it was another about 153 days before making the new high. And that's also the place where we're marking the mid-cycle dip, because that's where the 1,618 golden ratio is. And so in doing that, I did the bars chart, and then I adjusted for percentage to today's dollars. And this is kind of what I came up with. So let me pull this back and down. It's probably going to look really funky for you guys, so I apologize. Maybe I can get rid of, or I'll darken out these potential, these verticals, because these are just potential lines. Obviously nothing is certain. And so what you eventually end up with is right here. Let me get rid of that. So this is what the overall chart looks like. So the yellow is the 2013 cycle overlaid. The pink is the 2017 cycle overlaid. And so what you actually see is they cross. So the pink cycle, which is the 2017, really comes out of its mid-cycle dip because its consolidation and its price action for most of its bull run was more steady to the upside, and so it didn't have as huge a drawdown. And so it was outperforming out of the mid-cycle dip, and then eventually, not too long, within 15 days after achieving all-time, like retaking its all-time high, at least according to this, you actually see the 2013 price action like vastly outperform. And that's something I've been talking about in my more recent Bitcoin videos, or my more recent videos where I discuss Bitcoin. So what I'll do is I'll go to a line chart, because that'll make this thing a little bit more clean for you to see. And maybe what I should do is I should darken out these horizontal levels that I was watching. And so what you have here is kind of a look at where we're currently at. And so you can see, like, we are, even though at the initial stages we were underperforming, we're right back in the middle. And what's really interesting is to see that here we are, you know, we had this little spike, or this little jump right here. We're kind of coming down. And so what's really interesting is I think if you get like a line and maybe connect here to, I don't know, what do you say, to here? You know, it's not exact, but it's pretty close proximity to if you were to kind of adjust this a little bit. It looks like these are happening right around the same time. And if we're tracking more to the 2013, then I would imagine that we come up a little bit closer towards the all-time high before bouncing around, you know, under overhead resistance before all-time highs, before moving forward. So basically doing this is because I really wanted to see if we are in that sweet spot averaging the two, because that's ultimately what the first half of this bull market was all about. And so what I'm going to be looking for as we go is to see what is our price action more mirroring. And so the kind of where I want to wrap up here is where the potential tops will be. If our price action from where we're at were to match the 2013 cycle, it puts our top around 500,000 in terms of percent. And then if we match exactly the 2017 bull run, then it looks like we'll be just a shade under 300,000. So anything in between there is just gravy, honestly. And it looks like we would peak somewhere between December 13th and December 20th. I had some verticals which are from December 20th to December 29th. I think that's more close to the range, but we also could be earlier, and nobody really knows ultimately. And so which price action we're following is going to matter, because if we were to follow more of the 2017 price action, then we could see our new all-time high a lot sooner than if it's in the 2013 cycle. And all this is to say that Bitcoin is doing what Bitcoin has done the last two cycles, and there's nothing to worry about, even though if you look here, we are down 1,700 dollars. It was down 1,400 last when I started this video. It at one point was down 1,200 this morning, right when New York opened, and then it marched all the way back up and paired most of its losses before the end of the trading day, before giving it all back in about 2 hours. So in spite of that being the case, to me there is still nothing to worry about, and it's not really, the only way that we're going to have something to worry about is I would have to look at this and see price really get back down below the 2013 cycle, and then I would have to again see those levels. If I get rid of that, then I would have to once again see those levels that I was discussing really breaking down, and so far they haven't, and we don't know if they will, and but if you believe in Bitcoin, then everything still looks good. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. That's kind of what my view is. I hope you guys have a great day. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.